Steve Wilks is a problem. He might be the biggest problem on the team. His blitz on third down was 16 seconds left in the first half. The Vikings had no timeouts. There were 16 seconds left in the half, and Steve Wilks found a way to give up a touchdown. Apparently, it was the first time since week 11 of the 2020 season that any team ran a 7-man blitz with fewer than 30 seconds left in a half on the opponent's side of the 50. So, like, what he did was a major, major no-no for play callers, and he did it anyway. And now he's under fire. What do you think of Steve Wilks?
I'd like to come to Whitner. Dante Whitner was talking about him after the game on NBC Sports Bay Area. Dante Whitner is a really good analyst, Iggy. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy too.
Yeah.
From what I know about him. Anyway, he was appalled by what Wilks had done. And he brought up, I thought, a brilliant point. He said when he used to play for Fangio, they'd be in a situation and Fangio would say, what is our objective now? What do we want to accomplish now? Well, in 16 seconds left, what you want to accomplish is that these other guys don't score. So maybe you have all kind of defensive backs and challenge the pass or all of that, as opposed to leaving yourself naked in the back. And so he kept coming back to that, and so did Troy Aikman, that these are two bright football guys who felt that Wilks misjudged the situation and had very bad judgment. That we never heard that about Saleh or D'Amico Ryans.
No. Suddenly this defense ranks 8th in the league. It was number 1 last year. It's not particularly good against the run. It's not particularly good against the pass. Like, this defense is becoming ordinary. And it's too expensive. There's too much invested in this defense for it to be ordinary. It's easy to look at Steve Wilks, and maybe it's because it's not his scheme. He's not invested in it. Maybe he's not that good, but maybe the Niners should have just gotten Vic Fangio like the Dolphins did.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'll tell you again, Kyle is very discreet. He won't tell you what's going on behind closed doors. But I've been around a lot of football teams, Iggy. My guess is he's had words with Wilks, or he will later today. And he's going to tell him, I'm not happy with what you're doing. And if Kyle doesn't do that, I would be very disappointed in Kyle. It's not a popularity contest. You need someone who produces, just like you need a quarterback who produces. This defensive coordinator is a downgrade from the previous two. That's very serious. Now, I don't know what Bosa said, but if Bosa said something, now already you got a rebellion in the ranks.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because, I mean, if Dante Whitner sees stuff, don't you think the players see stuff?
Yeah.
Don't you think Fred Warner sees stuff?
Yeah.
They're not automatons. They're very bright men. And they knew what the other system was. And all of a sudden, they really couldn't get to Kirk Cousins last night.
Let's talk about that.
It was a joke.
Yeah, and that's on. So, Wilks, you got really high-paid pass rushers. There was no way that you could rush 4 of them and get them to Kirk Cousins. There was no, you could do the straight 4-man rush, or you could have guys going in different directions on stunts and games. Nothing worked. Then you tried rushing 5, blitzing with 6, blitzing with 7. Nothing worked. I don't know what to tell you, man. You got good players. These are your plays, and nothing's working. Kyle might need to go to someone else at this point, because with all this talent, D'Amico Ryans had a bunch of stuff that worked. Robert Saleh had a bunch of stuff that worked. And this guy can't figure out a way to get to the quarterback with all this talent. He's
really?
Like a bear with these claws, and he can't figure out how to kill the bunny.
And here's the thing, Iggy. Again, I don't know Kyle, but if they continue to have performances like this, he might get rid of him midseason. Now, if he gets back on track and they have a terrific, if they really beat Cincinnati and if, they're really good, then it's a moot point. It doesn't matter. But if they have another game like this, I don't think Bill Walsh would have been patient. What for? It's not a learning experience. You're there to win games.
Yeah, what is Wilks adding? I mean, I was surprised they didn't promote someone from within. That's what they did when they lost Robert Saleh. D'Amico Ryans was here and had sort of been groomed by Robert Saleh and could keep doing the same stuff. The Niners brought in Steve Wilks, and they were like, just talk to the position coaches. They'll tell you what to do. We want to keep doing what we're doing, but we're bringing you in, and you have no background with the wide nine, but you will run this. So it's like he's not as invested. He has no ownership over it. At the end, if Kyle were to come up to him after the game in the plane on the ride home, so what the hell, Steve? Steve can say, man, I'm just doing what you told me to do. And that's not what you want. You want someone who's actually invested in what they're doing. So maybe there's someone else on the squad they could elevate that's been there since DeMeco Ryans. How could he be worse than Steve Wilks?
So what we're saying, Iggy, is that Steve Wilks is on the cusp of being vulnerable.
Yes, he absolutely is. He absolutely is. So I think a lot of people on this team are on the cusp of being vulnerable. And I think this next game going into the bye week is huge for a few people, starting with him. Antonio Espindola says the main problem is freaking ego coaching. That stems from that. That's where the ego comes from. Mike Drops with Bonsa says, Wilks is fine. He's not giving up a ton of points. Offense isn't scoring. Sam Darnold loading. Lose 3 straight. He's starting. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Cheating Tierra, $5. Flav says, it's Brock's fault, but Kyle Shanahan does this every year. Never actually trusts his quarterback, even when it's clear their D can't hang with our wide receivers. Then shocked his quarterback has no confidence and chokes in the playoffs every year.
This kid didn't wait till the playoffs to choke. He's choked the last 2 weeks.
That's right. Riziki says Bosa said that they are usually a rush 4 kind of team when asked about the blitz calls. Feel better, Mr. Cohn.
Thank you.